Neighborhood, now at 7 a.m.
You don't think it's going to happen to your house until it happens.
Picking up the pieces after a powerful tornado touches down in Seminole County. We're live with cleanup underway and the new details about the storm's path.
Plus, a former Brevard County deputy now charged with murdering a 72-year-old woman. What's set to happen today after the big new developments in the case?
And marking a somber milestone when it comes to COVID-19, the impacts we're still feeling 5 years after the virus was declared a global pandemic. Good morning on your Tuesday. It is 7 a.m. I'm Crystal Moyer.
I'm Justin Mormouth, Trooper Steve, watching the roads.
We're here.
And watching his watch.
Watching the watch as well. Meteorologist Candace Campos here as well. I mean, today is just going to be a nice breezy day, much different than what we experienced yesterday.
Yeah, and good weather for those who are picking up a lot of the debris and all the damage from yesterday's storms, which fortunately was very isolated, but still that one path that one storm made its way through Seminole County. We'll have more details on that coming up in just a bit. But yeah, that's right. The moment you walk out the door, you will notice that cold front has moved through. It's not freezing outside, but it's drastically cooler than yesterday. We started off in the 70s yesterday. Today, we're starting off in the 40s. So some locations are clocking about 20 to 25 degrees cooler on this Tuesday rather than Monday morning. But notice that breeze that is going to stay in place over the next couple of hours. Right now, our wind gusts still up to about 25 to 30 along our coastline, still in the teens further inland. And it's that northwest breeze that's going to continue to bring in that cooler, drier air. Right now, we're in those 40s, basically across areas of Sanford, northward, low 50s elsewhere. But again, look at this Marion County. You guys are almost close to 30-degree drop between yesterday morning and this morning. So certainly light jacket worthy kind of morning. As temperatures this afternoon, though, will be getting right back to where they should be for this time of the year in the upper 70s. But hold on to your hats for spring breakers. We're going to get close to near 90 pretty soon. We'll have more details on that coming up in just a bit. Now let's check on how those roadways are doing on this Tuesday morning with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
It being 7:02, Chief, I feel like we're hanging out with like an exclusive viewership.
This is VIP
now.
right now. This
VIP.
is the new 6
It's like our
VIP.
streamers are just watching us right now, not our streakers, our streamers. All right.
have streakers?
You never know. I-4 out here, 528 Central Florida Parkway, looking pretty good this morning. Traffic's definitely building up, but all the construction has been picked up. So no lane closures, looking pretty good. Maitland, Piedmont, all of the Wekiva area, even Forest City, nice and smooth. And then dropping down here, State Road 50, Colonial Drive, east and westbound, just west of I-4. As you're approaching Orange Blossom Trail, even John Young Parkway, things looking really nice this morning. No other crashes to currently report other than the one that we started earlier this morning with, and then DOT cam out here, 429 at State Road 50, showing we're busy, but at least we're moving. Guys, back to you.
All right, Steve, thank you. Cleanup set to continue today in Seminole County after that powerful tornado tore a path of destruction through several neighborhoods. At one point, the twister reached an EF2 strength with winds of 120 miles an hour.
And Justin, it caused one home to collapse and left several others with damage. Some of the worst of it, though, was in an area around Blue Iris Place. That's just off Markham Woods Road, west of I-4. News 6's Mark Lehman is out there live. And Mark, the sheriff says it's a miracle no one was hurt.
Yeah, it's an honest assessment, especially after you see all the damage in this neighborhood that was hit hardest by the tornado. And most noticeably is what is here behind me, what you mentioned, this home that collapsed under those very strong winds. But remarkably, the two people inside this home were able to survive.
An EF2 tornado on the ground for 4 miles. That's what the National Weather Service says caused all of this damage in Seminole County Monday morning.
Just by looking at it, they will have to start from the ground up.
Fierce winds up to 120 miles per hour, causing this home to collapse off of Blue Iris Place. That's also where 2 people survived by taking shelter in the one corner that was spared.
It's nothing short of a miracle for these 2 individuals in this particular home that is 80 to 90% destroyed, that they were able to make it out there safely.
The tornado causing destruction throughout the Whispering Wind subdivision and continuing on a path of about 4 miles into Lake Mary.
The exhaust fan, from the roof blew off pretty quick, and there is a hole in the roof, where this was. So we've got significant flood damage, or rain damage rather, inside as well.
The storm damaging businesses and flipping trailers off of Skyline Drive. Fortunately, no one was hurt in all of this, and now the work to recover is underway.
Between the 3 hurricanes that we've seen, that I've seen since living here in this building, combined, the damage doesn't equate to what we've seen here today.
And the cleanup here is only beginning. On top of the damage we're seeing in this location, there's also several downed trees, debris, and power trucks here in this neighborhood. We also spoke with a woman across the street who showed us her parents' home that was damaged in the storm. We're going through that for our next report coming up at 7:30. For now, reporting live in Seminole County, Mark Lehman, getting results, News 6.
And Mark, at one point, that tornado crossed right over I-4, bringing traffic to a standstill and catching drivers off guard.
Not sure what size it is or anything. Hopefully it's just a little one. A lot of debris. Pretty scary. Hopefully everything will be okay.
Just incredible video there. Of course, we want to bring back Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos. Candace, the Weather Service says this tornado was actually on the ground for longer than first thought.
Right, 4 miles. And,
Wow.
you know, it was one of those really iconic radar signatures that we picked up live when we were covering the tornado warning, which is why we stay on air during the entirety of a tornado warning, because while some tornado warnings don't officially confirm a tornado, many areas, there are some times where we do have a confirmed tornado, and that's exactly what we saw. It was actually confirmed because we actually picked up the debris on the radar, all that debris from tree limbs and roof and shingles, that was all getting picked up on the radar, and it was a big old debris ball that crossed over from Wekiva all the way up through Lake Mary. Peak winds of 120 miles per hour. To kind of put that into perspective, we're talking about Category 3 hurricane strength, running for about 4 miles, about 300 yards wide. And all of this damage and destruction happened in just 6 minutes. So that is why one of the things we really stress when it comes to tornado safety, and when we reiterate it over and over again during those tornado warnings, is making sure you know where the safest place in your house is. You have that family there that their house collapsed, and thankfully, since they were in that safe room, which is kind of the most interior kind of point of the room with the least amount of windows, they were able to walk away okay. So, of course, this is something, a good reminder, whether it's this time of the year or hurricane season, find that safe room. Make this a lesson learned. Back to you guys.
Our coverage of this big story continues on clickorlando.com. We've got photos, videos from our team, along with News 6 viewers, which you have all sent us, and a full recap of the damage. Just look right on the homepage.
Happening today, a former Brevard County Corrections deputy is due back in court, this time to face murder charges in the case of a missing Titusville woman. 35-year-old David Barber facing several new charges, including first-degree murder. Investigators say he killed 72-year-old Jessie Kirk last Tuesday and set her SUV on fire. She was later found dead near Hulliver Canal. Barber was originally arrested on loitering, prowling, and grand theft auto charges, but police say after investigating, there is enough evidence to charge him with murder.
Well, it seems like a lifetime ago, but today marks 5 years since the World Health Organization officially declared COVID-19 a pandemic.
We're deeply concerned both by the alarming levels of spread and severity.
And that declaration ended up being just the beginning of a nightmare that would claim the lives of millions around the world. News 6's Angie Casada is live in Orange County. And Angie, we're still feeling at least some of the impacts of the virus today.
Yeah, Crystal, big time. Listen, 5 years since life as we know it changed. And if you can remember this parking lot here at the convention center behind me, where lines of cars with people who were looking to get tested and then later on vaccinated. And although this isn't a global crisis that it once was, the virus still remains a big concern for health officials, especially when it comes to high-risk individuals.
Experts say the virus isn't gone. It's just more manageable, but there have been several lasting impacts, including vaccine hesitancy.
Since COVID, we've had something happen that had never happened before, really, and that is that many people question vaccines and are they safe? We shouldn't be questioning those. But COVID brought up this whole thing about vaccine safety in general instead of specifically for that vaccine.
According to the CDC, booster rates have dropped, with many Americans opting out despite recommendations.
So there are a lot of diseases that are going to be around and just aren't going to leave. We have quite a few of them. I mean, anywhere from the flu to the common cold to COVID to measles. You know, I mean, it's all out there. It's not going to go away necessarily. what do we have to protect ourselves? And who needs protection?
Beyond health concerns, the pandemic left behind lasting changes in how we live and work. Millions of Americans continue to work from home, and companies are still figuring out the right balance. Online shopping also saw a boom during the pandemic, with curbside pickup and same-day delivery becoming the norm. And when it comes to education, digital learning gaps remain a concern, especially for students from low-income families.
Now, just to put this in perspective, when President Trump addressed the nation 5 years ago tonight, the death toll in the U.S. was 38. That number would end up climbing over 1 million. Reporting in Orlando, Angie Casada, Getting Results, News 6.
All right, Angie, thank you. SpaceX will try again tonight to send its latest round of Starlink satellites into orbit. It comes after last night's launch attempt was scrubbed. Right now, liftoff from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station set for 10:48 p.m. with launch opportunities until 11:50. Meantime, SpaceX and NASA still targeting Wednesday night for the Crew 10 mission to the International Space Station. 4 astronauts set to lift off on board a Falcon 9 rocket, with the trip paving the way for the return of Starliner astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams, who have been on the station for the past 9 months. Liftoff is set for no earlier than tomorrow night at 7:48. If it happens, we'll bring it to you live.
All right, turning back to weather with Candace, it looks like you need to, have a little margarita, play some of that music in the back.
Nice?
Look at that sunrise.
You know what? All the breeze is going to make us look like that poor astronaut's hair. I wonder if it's going to stay that high after all these months.
Every little ting, it's gonna be all right.
Doesn't that look pretty? Look at the palm fronds there. They're blowing in that breeze right now. We're finally getting that sunrise. At the end of the day, this is why I wanted to add another extra hour to our newscast. That way I can show you this during daylight saving. You can see Cape Canaveral launch. I'm kidding. I have no say. 52 degrees right now. Our wind gusts clocking up to about 26 miles per hour. And that breeze is still kicking up and down our beaches right now. You can see between about 24 and 25. And then a little further inland we go. Winds are still in those teens. Temperatures out the door. It is cool. Upper 40s in Daytona, Palm Coast. Make sure to grab the jacket or the sweater. You certainly will be needing it. You might not need it throughout the day, but it's not going to be an ideal beach and boating day. We do have that moderate risk of rip currents as well as a small craft advisory. So boaters beware. Our seas will be up to about 4 to 7 feet. We'll have more details though on when the weather forecast is going to be looking much better for your beach forecast, including just in time for spring break coming up in just a bit. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
I feel like Orlando, Central Florida needs that Miami spring break commercial.
Stay away.
Stay away.
We don't want to.
Well,
we're breaking up with you.
Yeah, we are so breaking up with you guys. I-4 out by the attractions. This is one area where we are going to see a ramp up in construction that we have not seen pretty much ever, because this is part of the I-4 extension area that we're going to start to see express lanes put in, the additional of a travel lane. I'm talking I-4 World Drive, Champions Gate area. As of right now, we're seeing those routine delays out there, so please be careful. Looks like something just happened just west of Oakland. When I come back here in a second, I'll keep you updated on that. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Trooper Steve. Well, most people use them to listen to music or make phone calls, but now a new use for Apple's AirPods.
Yeah, pretty neat one at that. Coming up, how the tiny devices are being used to actually help some people hear.
Nice. But first, a vote expected as early as today to keep the federal government from shutting down. Why the decision could come down to a single lawmaker.
Happening today, House lawmakers expected to vote on a spending bill aimed at keeping the government from shutting down. The clock is ticking as well. Right now, there's only enough money to keep things going until 11:59 Friday night. So under the Republican-backed plan, the government would be funded through the fiscal year, which ends September 30th. It also cuts about $13 billion in domestic spending, but adds money for defense and for immigration enforcement. However, House Democrats are pushing their own bill, and without their support, Republicans can only afford to lose one vote.
No one wants to shut the government down, and we are governing, doing the responsible thing as Republicans.
It's harmful to the people we represent. But at the same time, they need to come back to the table and do something reasonable.
Vice President J.D. Vance is expected to meet with House Republicans as early as this morning to advocate for the bill's passage. If it does pass the House, it would move on to the Senate, where Democratic support would be required.
New this morning, you see them in ears nearly everywhere you go. Apple's AirPod Pros, right? Most people use them to listen to music or make some phone calls. But in today's Insider, Consumer Reports explains how people are using them as discreet alternatives to traditional hearing aids. Tens of millions of people live with hearing loss. Toby Stanger, a former editor at Consumer Reports, is one of them.
I've probably had hearing loss for several years, but it was only during the pandemic when it really began to affect me and affect the people around me.
If that sounds familiar, there might be something already in your pocket that can help. Apple's AirPods Pro 2 now offers hearing assistance for people with mild to moderate hearing loss.
You can find a clinical-grade hearing test right on your phone, either in the settings or in the health app. And in just a few minutes, you can find out if you need help from a hearing aid.
If you do, the hearing aid feature customizes your AirPods by boosting or lowering the volume at specific frequencies based on your needs. It can also help protect your hearing in loud places like concerts by reducing the sound to a safe level.
My husband complains that I like the sound much louder when we're watching TV. So in order to appease him, I put the AirPods in my ears when we're watching TV, and they really do help. In fact, I realized when I put them in that I had my own hearing aids set too low.
You learned something there. If you need more hearing support, some hearing aids can now be purchased over the counter without a prescription. You can find more information on those, as well as a step-by-step tutorial for those Apple AirPod hearing aid features right now on clickorlando.com/insider.
New this morning, a bill moving through the state legislature is putting the future of cursive writing in the spotlight. The measure would require all public school students to be proficient at reading and writing in cursive by the end of 5th grade. For many who did learn this in school, of course, it's a lost art. It's rarely used nowadays, but my hand still hurts from doing it. If passed and signed by the governor, the bill would go into effect July 1st. I think everyone should suffer and have to continue to write in cursive like we all did.
It's
a beautiful, it looks beautiful
yeah,
though.
Sure, but time's money.
Mine doesn't look beautiful.
It's true.
My aunt already texted me and was like, my handwriting's beautiful. And I'm like,
yeah.
So she's the one that you want to get letters from, right?
Right.
It's cursive, and it takes you like 5 hours to read because you're like, what letter is that?
She was also very excited that Justin's back.
I bet.
Oh, hi.
She made
Great to be here.
Made me make that point.
Oh, okay. Justin's got a fan.
That makes one.
One of many. Stop it. All right. Let's talk about your weather forecast across Central
She wants a handwritten note in cursive from Justin.
I want one from her. Breezy. That's like my cursive. That's what it looks like.
That's
it's like
just slanted.
It's like a hybrid. Yeah, it's like italicized.
Hey, that's nice.
It's italicized. It's print but sideways. All right, let's talk about your weather forecast for Tuesday. Forgot to fix this. This is Tuesday. All right, so Tuesday, it's going to be breezy out there. Our wind gusts picking up between 25 to 30 miles per hour. But look, you got your St. Patty's stuff prepped and ready for Monday. It's going to get warm, especially on Sunday before a front gets here. And then we're going to start bringing back rain chances up to about 30-40%. But in the meantime, though, we're going to be dry at least throughout the next 4 days. Looking here at the satellite and radar composite, the main reason for it, because we have a big ridge of high pressure and control that's going to continue to settle in across Central Florida. And as it does so, although we will start to warm back into those 80s, at least we're still going to be staying pretty comfortable and dry. Wind gusts at this point in the time still clocking between about in the teens between Orlando and Leesburg, but already along our coastline, we've already picked up wind gusts close to 30. So today, do expect kind of a not blustery, but kind of a gusty start to the morning and into the afternoon. Most of that breeze should start to weaken, though, as the sun goes down. And as the winds go down, those temperatures will also drop a little further than what we're experiencing right now. Now, temperatures out the door. Right now, we're at 45 in Ocala, 49 degrees in DeLand and Sanford, 53 in Cocoa Beach. But now let's check on that hour-by-hour forecast for today. We're up to 76, which is right where we should be for this time of the year. Tons of sunshine. Just that breeze in place could just make us a little more sensitive to that fire danger. So just do be aware of that. Our next system, again, will start moving in late Sunday as of now. This is, of course, as of Tuesday. So the forecast modeling will kind of iron out some of the details. We have a little bit of discrepancy on exactly the timing, but as of now, it looks like the bulk of the rain, maybe a few thunderstorms, could start to move in early Monday morning. As we get results here with the full 7-day forecast, before that front gets here on Monday, cooling us down, notice how warm temperatures could be getting on Sunday, closing in on near 90 degrees. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
I do have a crash northbound on the Florida Turnpike close to Claremont here. This is going to be right around the 274 off to the right shoulder. Both the tow truck, road ranger, and a Florida trooper are already on scene, so there's no excuse for you not to move on over. Plenty of lights for you to see. Sun's coming up there. Clear that right lane so they can get out of there. Sky 6 over the attractions. Man, we are busy at 721. Keep it nice and smooth. Increase your following distance. The good thing is no crashes out in this area, so your drive times where they should be about this morning. And then some mild slowdowns this morning along 429 over by Keene Road. We're starting to see those slowdowns this morning. They'll get even worse closer to 8 o'clock, so just make sure we're paying attention. Goes back to you.
Thank you, Steve. 722 now. After months in limbo, there is a new police chief in Kissimmee.
At the bottom of the hour, who will now lead the department?
First, though, if you had trouble logging into X yesterday, you were not alone. What Elon Musk says went wrong with his social media site.
New this morning, an investigation is underway at X after owner Elon Musk says the site was the target of a massive cyber attack. Musk made the statement just hours after a series of outages were reported by users yesterday. The complaint started around 6 yesterday morning, and by 10, nearly 40,000 people say they were unable to access their accounts. Musk says X is targeted every day, but that yesterday's was done with, quote, a lot of resources and appeared to be coordinated.
A health alert now this morning following a TikTok video that's gone viral. Doctors say they're seeing more patients who have confused lash or nail glue with eye drops.
Instead of grabbing the eye drops, I grabbed the Kiss nail glue. So this is them rinsing my eye out.
It's probably embarrassing enough to have that happen, and then you got to post it on social media. But the video has been shared thousands of times.
Exactly.
It's a cautionary tale from that woman who mixed up her nail glue with eye drops, ended up in the ER as well. While it may seem rare, doctors say it's actually pretty common because we're talking about humans here. You know, common sense, right? They say while the mix-up doesn't typically cause permanent damage, it can require medical attention. So to avoid a mix-up, doctors suggest storing products that look similar in different places.
You know, just use Gorilla Glue on your hair.
Maybe a double take,
I've heard that works.
A Gorilla, yeah, that does work, doesn't it? Works just as good as gum. Anyway, a new study shows employee burnout is costing U.S. businesses big bucks.
You don't say. It comes as new research shows that burnout is happening earlier than previously thought. Researchers at the CUNY Graduate School of Public Health and Health Policy found employee burnout can cost employers up to $5 million a year due to lost productivity, like missed work days. Some signs of burnout also include decreased performance, missed deadlines, and increased mistakes. So when does that drop happen? According to a separate study, most employees tend to burn out in their career at around 42 years old. You got some time, Justin.
I do have some time. I know we're asking, when does this happen? I think the more pressing question is, why does this happen? And I think we all know the answer to it. So, in just hours, a crucial vote when it comes to the future of a Melbourne nonprofit.
Yeah, at the bottom of the hour, why the Daily Bread Soup Kitchen could be forced to close sooner than first thought.
First, though, widespread damage in Seminole County after a tornado touches down, carving a miles-long path. The cleanup homeowners are now facing.
Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results.
Good morning, Central Florida. I'm Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos. Out the door right now, we're in those mid-40s north, nearing about 50 degrees and a little warmer the further south you go throughout Orlando. Taking here hour by hour, a beautiful day. It is going to be breezier, wind gusts up to about 25 miles per hour today. We're going to continue to warm things up, though, as we head into the rest of the work week. St. Patrick's Day, though, looking a little bit on the soggy side. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve.
Northbound Turnpike, we're just a little slow, just north of 429. Crash off to the right-hand side. Outside of that, Sky 6, I don't know where they're going this morning. They told me not much going on out there, which is always a good thing. Right now, your drive time, about 30 minutes, 417 from Seminole down towards the downtown area. But Kissimmee, we're very slow at the Turnpike and 192. Then, of course, Pleasant Hill and Narcoossee northbound as you begin to approach that county line. And then westbound I-4 right there around Saxon. CBS Mornings continues next. Now remember, you can get updates on any of our big stories anytime over at clickorlando.com.
This portion of the news is sponsored by AK Certified Roofing. Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results in your neighborhood. Now it's 7:30.
Devastation in Seminole County after an EF2 tornado leaves behind miles of destruction. The latest on the damage as the long road to recovery begins.
And disturbing allegations after a worker at a local school is arrested in a child sex sting. How parents are reacting this morning. Plus,
it's going to be okay. No one's going to fall through the cracks.
A lifeline for more than 100 people could close sooner than expected. The decision tonight that could determine the fate of the Daily Bread Soup Kitchen. Good morning to you, Central Florida. It is 7:30. I'm Justin Mormon.
And I'm Crystal Moyer. We want to get another check of your pinpoint weather with Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos and a cool start to our Tuesday.
Beautiful live look outside as the sun officially about to pop its head over the horizon there in just about 10 minutes or so. Daytona Beach sky cam. Notice that breeze, though, is really already starting to kind of rough up the surf just a bit. So today, not ideal for beachgoers and boaters. I mean, you might like the beach, just you might get kind of sandblasted as the breeze is going to continue to gust upwards about 20 to 25 miles per hour. That's exactly what we're dealing with right now. Current temperature is about 48 degrees under mostly clear skies. The wind gusts at this point in time still picking up out of the northwest between 15 to about 25 miles per hour. And that's continuing to funnel in that real nice, much cool, crisp kind of start to the morning. We're right now in those 40s northwest of the I-4 corridor, nearing about 50 further south. But that is compared to about 28 degrees colder this morning than yesterday at this exact same time. We'll have more details, though, on how all this will go from blue to bright red with the more heat in the forecast coming up in just a bit. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
Thank you, ma'am. Your drive times right now on I-4 east and westbound about average, about 30 minutes from Seminole, Sanford, 417 westbound along I-4 to downtown Orlando, and then 25 from Osceola Parkway. You guys are doing pretty good down there. It's not too bad. Outside of that, we're seeing those routine delays along the Turnpike at 192, Pleasant Hill, of course, and then those delays way up on the north end here over at I-4 in Saxon. We were bumper to bumper just a second ago. You're going to come around that kind of curvature where the median kind of spreads out there, and then you will be able to clear back up. But just be careful, increase that following distance residentially over in Deltona, off of kind of Fort Smith Boulevard and Doyle. Things look pretty good. Guys, back to you.
All right, Steve, thank you. Back now to our big story, that EF2 tornado tearing a path of destruction through parts of Seminole County.
Yeah, you could see the mess left behind. You could see that house just wiped away, several others damaged. And this morning, the cleanup process for many is just beginning.
Yeah, we've learned that tornado was on the ground for about 4 miles yesterday morning, starting on the edge of Okiver Springs State Park before crossing Markham Woods Road and then crossing I-4. News 6's Mark Lehman live along Blue Iris Place, one of the hardest areas hit. And Mark, it is just amazing no one was hurt in all this.
Especially when you look at all of the destruction caused by this tornado. It's really startling to think that there were actually people here inside of this home as that tornado struck the home. They were inside in this right portion of the house, and they managed to survive as the storm continued on.
It's nothing short of a miracle for these two individuals in this particular home.
Seminole County Sheriff Dennis Lima says 2 people survived Monday morning after taking shelter in the one corner of this home that was spared. According to the National Weather Service, the EF2 tornado brought winds up to 120 miles per hour.
I don't think we're going to be able to get in. We might be able to go around.
Across the street, Nicole Varma showed us damage to her parents' home. Feet away, their old oak tree came crashing down onto the road.
Got a call from my dad, and we have a short code of like, I'm okay, my mom's okay, but not everything is okay.
In all, there was a roughly 4-mile path as the tornado went into Lake Mary.
What you see in here is a tree that fell out from off the ground. And I was in the office, and then the light started blinking.
Businesses seeing some damage and close calls before the tornado died out near Skyline Drive.
Thankfully, that is pretty much all the damage that we had. We have a truck out front that was an inch away from being toppled by a tree, so we're pretty lucky.
And while everyone is thankful there weren't any injuries from this tornado, the damage is still devastating. This will be the first full day of cleanup here in this neighborhood, and recovery, at least for some, will likely take several weeks, if not months. For now, reporting live in Seminole County, Mark Lehman, getting results, News 6.
And Mark, while fortunately no one was hurt, there were some close calls. You may remember this. One man in his semi with his dog on Commerce Street in Lake Mary when the winds picked up his truck and flipped it over. Speaking through a translator, he said everything happened so fast he didn't have time to escape.
He said he was feeling nervous. He was very scared when the vehicle just lifted off the air and then just hit the ground.
That dog looks so calm. Crews were able to eventually get that semi back upright.
And that's not the only spot in Lake Mary that saw damage. Some new video here showing what happened to one family's pool enclosure. I'm sure this is just this is one of a handful of pool enclosures that went flying. A big chunk ended up crashing right down into the water there. The storm knocking out power to many areas as well, but the lights are mostly back on.
And for those dealing with the damage, the Red Cross, meantime, already on the ground, offering emergency kits to homeowners. Many neighbors are also helping each other get results with the cleanup.
What has it been like seeing this neighborhood today and being out here? Like, how would you describe the experience?
It reminds me of Hurricane Andrew.
Emergency management has tarps available for impacted homeowners. You can get them at the St. Stephen Lutheran Church on State Road 434. We've got all the information on clickorlando.com.
The 17-year-old accused of making a threat to shoot up Seminole High School will be staying in custody for now. The teen made his first appearance in front of a judge yesterday following his arrest. Sanford police arrested the Elevation Charter School student over the weekend after they say he posted the threat in a video on social media. Police say they found an arsenal of these realistic-looking airsoft guns at his home, but they don't believe he had any access to real weapons.
A worker at Horizon Elementary School in Volusia County off the job after police say he was busted in a child predator sting. Jeffrey Summers was in his 4th year working as a paraprofessional at the Port Orange school. Police say he was picked up as part of a Central Florida-wide operation during Bike Week when he traveled to meet someone who he thought was a minor.
Once more information comes out, I'm sure I will feel better that he was arrested. But right now, it's kind of like you're just in this unknown, and now you have like, do I talk to my kids? Have they have any incidences?
Summers was one of 16 people arrested. The district tells us he's not allowed back on campus or to have any contact with students. Happening today, the future of a troubled condo complex once again up for debate in Orange County. Commissioners are trying to force the sale of the TimberScan complex off Texas Avenue to make way for new development, but several people still living there say they have nowhere else to go. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez joins us live. And Stephanie, commissioners are set to get an update today on where things stand with this.
That's right. That meeting is happening this morning at 9 a.m. They're going to get an update on plans to demolish the remaining condo buildings. But the people that live there tell me that they're doing everything they can to stop this.
And that's what upsets me the most, is them treating us like we're different, like we're leopards.
70-year-old Cynthia Clater has a message to the community about TimberScan on the lake.
Public perception is this is a troubled community. It's not. There's people, at night it's so quiet you can hear the crickets. We don't have problems in here anymore.
She says people see it as a bad place because of past issues, but she and others have made it safer, cleaner, and welcoming.
We did a community cleanup where we got a whole bunch of people out here, and we took a big old dumpster, which, by the way, we pay for ourselves, and we cleaned up all the garbage back there with their cameras watching people come in and out of here. So we're doing our best to make sure this is safe.
And this is coming from residents' pockets?
Residents' pockets.
The county is considering forcing the sale of TimberScan to allow for redevelopment. They cite issues like crime, units without water, and safety concerns for the people who live here. While county staff have developed a plan to assist Clater and the 55 other residents find housing, she's unsure how they could help everyone, especially those who have no other options.
What are they going to do for them? They keep saying if they qualify. But that's not going to help these people. They're already here. They've already got a home.
Again, that meeting today at 9 a.m. County staff will be giving an update to county commissioners, sharing their recommendations, giving the feedback that they got from residents like Clater to the County Board of Commissioners, and also devising a plan to bring this back up to the board for consideration. Reporting live in Orange County, Stephanie Rodriguez, getting results in 6.
Thank you, Stephanie. Tonight, a crucial vote could also decide the fate of a vital community resource in Melbourne. The Daily Bread Soup Kitchen, which feeds more than 100 people every single day, could close in just 2 months. We have told you before about the nonprofit's plans to transition into building apartments for the homeless. But as News 6's James Barbero shows us, with increasing complaints about its current downtown location, the move is being fast-tracked.
With all that's developed on this story in the past couple months, I wanted to come back to the Daily Bread, talk to Executive Director Jeff News. about this new timeline for closing, Jeff. You used to think you might have about a year before you had to close the soup kitchen. Are you prepared to do so in now just a couple months potentially?
Yes, we are. It'll be a challenge to move forward more quickly, but we've been planning to do this already, and accelerating the process, it's going to be okay. No one's going to fall through the cracks, and we'll be able to meet the needs of the people that we serve through a mobile outreach system.
When I met you in the kitchen and we saw about 100 people get fed as they do every day, I talked to one of those people later, and as you mentioned, not falling through the cracks. She was concerned that with that 2-year gap between closing potentially and then opening your new property, Providence Place, some of these people just won't get the service or the quality of service that they used to get here.
So when it's gone, like, we're not gonna have somewhere where we can go get a hot meal or a shower or clothing.
The main transformation that's happening is a shift from outreach here on Fee Avenue to having outreach scattered throughout the community. That starts now. In fact, it's already begun, and we're meeting people at different sites throughout the city. And
concerns heading into the vote?
I'm confident. We've been working with our partners in the city of Melbourne for a long time. It's been a real partnership that should benefit the whole community that's facing the challenge of homelessness.
All right, well, thank you, Jeff. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks for all you do for the community.
Thank you.
And even before the council votes Tuesday night here at City Hall, Daily Bread is already starting to prepare to phase out its services. They've announced that beginning in just 2 weeks, they won't be open on weekends anymore. In Melbourne, Brevard County, I'm James Sparvero, Getting Results News 6.
Meanwhile, in Orlando, commissioners are going back to the drawing board after the mayor says the proposed homeless shelter in the Soto community, it's not going to be happening. The city had been planning on using an old work release site on Cayley Avenue for the facility, but in a statement yesterday, the mayor said the city determined the location was, quote, not feasible. Many living nearby had been fighting the idea, saying they were concerned about a possible increase in crime. The mayor says the city will continue to work with its partners to try and find ways to help those experiencing homelessness.
All right, 7:42. Let's get you over to Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos now. Yes. The sun finally rising.
Finally.
The radar sweeps are clean. Just like we like it,
yes.
Especially after yesterday.
Compared to yesterday, we're going to be looking really nice, although we do have kind of more of a sensitive fire danger just because, one, we're looking mostly dry. We do have a breeze in place as well. But again, the radar sweeps are going around. No need for the rain gear, but you might need a light jacket the moment you walk out the door. Look how much rainfall has fallen just in the last 2 days. Really, this was within the last 24 hours. Notice that big green swath that went from Sumter all the way through Volusia County. That was that one big cell that continued to create some of that rotation that sparked tornado warnings. Unfortunately, it was the reason that we actually had a confirmed tornado in Seminole County, dumping with it also a lot of rain, which is one of the biggest concerns we had with that potential tornado because of it being potentially rain wrapped. We had so much rain falling at the exact same time. So glad to see that everybody was okay at least. Looking at the wind gusts at this point, still gusting upwards about 25 to 30 miles per hour, but it is a cool start. We will be warming up pretty quick. We'll be talking about that coming up in just a bit. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
Things looking pretty good out here this morning for the most part. Earlier crash out here. I don't know why though. Text disappeared off my screen, but it's going to be 436. No, it's not. It's going to be Conway at Detweiler, JD Judge there. So just be careful as you're cruising through there. It's not slowing anybody down, which is a good thing. Just south of the airport, very slow along the Florida Turnpike. Look at that, almost at a standstill. Northbound right there at US 192. You St. Cloud folks, please be careful. No crashes in that area. Now, yesterday on patrol, the way we were driving around, things were very interesting. Surveying that weather damage along the Markham Woods area, that was where that impact was made. Pretty intense stuff there, seeing all those first responders. You can head over to clickorlando.com. We were able to play that live stream there. Today, we're going to be welcoming in Carl Santiago from the Orange County Sheriff's Office. He is a longtime law enforcement officer, but a huge member of the Enforcers, which is a local hockey organization. They're going to be having a big match coming up. We're going to talk about that 10 a.m. at clickorlando.com. Guys, back to you.
Sounds good, Steve. Thank you. Leaders in one county are considering a ban on large trucks on a busy road.
Coming up, where new signs could soon be posted after neighbor complaints.
First, though, keeping drivers from blocking intersections. Trooper Steve will show us what's being done about one trouble spot.
Time for Ask Trooper Steve, where I get to answer some of the questions that you send in to me. And today we're talking about blocking an intersection where people start building up. And this is a frustrating question, came in from Keith. So the question is, lots of construction, Highway 484 at I-75. He says people block the intersection all the time and that they finally put signs in, but people aren't paying attention to this. Help. Well, 316-2061 talks about this, very specific. So I can't get out there and fix the problem, but I can sure drive the definition home. So hear me out. This would also apply to multiple different things too. So think about it. Those median crossings, making a left in front of approaching traffic, things like that. You should never start your maneuver or turn unless you can complete it. Because then what happens? You end up stacking into the intersection, similar to here. People start diving into the intersection here and there's no other space to go. You should be waiting. Yes, you might be there 5, 6, maybe 7 minutes, but that's going to prevent you from stacking to the intersection here. It's also a moving violation. If we want to localize this, 44, this is way up towards almost Ocala, I-4 Lee Road. You guys coming off of I-4 westbound all the time at Lee Road, stack up in the intersection like you're getting an invite to a party, and we're all stuck there watching you. That is a moving violation, over $160 ticket. If you've got a traffic safety question you want me to answer it, head on over to clickorlando.com/AskTrooperSteve.
A man arrested after a shooting between two rival motorcycle gangs in New Smyrna Beach is now out of jail after posting bond. 41-year-old Clinton Walker is facing several charges after the violent scene on Saturday at the racetrack on State Road 44 right near I-95. Investigators say Walker is the man who started the shooting as people were just trying to fill up their gas tanks. 2 people ended up hurt in this, but they are expected to be okay.
Kissimmee's police department officially has a new leader. Charles Broadway is set to take over the agency. He's been the chief of Claremont since 2012 and has also worked with the NYPD, Gainesville Police, and Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Now, remember, the Kissimmee Police Department has been without a chief since concerns about the conduct in the department led to the former Chief Betty Holland's resignation back in October. Broadway will be sworn in on April 1st.
Happening today, a vote that could ban large trucks from using a busy road in Lake County. Leaders will be deciding on whether to post signs that say no trucks over 10 tons on South Buck Hill Road, specifically between County Road 455 and Turnpike Road and County Road 561 in the Claremont and Howey in the Hills area. It comes after several neighbors complained about the truck traffic there. Trucks making local deliveries, though, would be exempt. Today's meeting begins at 9 a.m.
Well, a surprise visitor has made an early appearance on Volusia County beaches. Take a look. Even though sea turtle nesting season doesn't officially kick off until May 1st, this leatherback sea turtle has already made her mark. She laid the first nest of the season, and it's also the earliest one ever recorded on county-managed beaches. With warmer waters on the way, expect hundreds more turtles to arrive this season. And last year, Volusia County saw a record 902 total nests.
I love that stat. Those are we need more. Let's break another record this year and then the year after that.
Right.
We love that because I know, they go through so much. They have so many different elements out there that they're dealing with.
I know the struggle's real for them.
Struggle is real.
They start off for the babies to make it back out there.
Yeah. And an interesting fact is because these turtles were put on the Endangered Species Act in the 70s, this is the reason why we're seeing numbers. It took this long to finally see our results from that act. So
wow, giving perspective there. That's
really,
wild.
So let's talk about the beautiful weather we're going to see. Maybe not the most ideal beach weather. I mean, maybe for them. For them, yeah, they don't care. Yeah, they like it when it's cold and windy because no one's bothering them. Looking here, what to expect, sunny and breezy out there this week. We're going to be warming up into those 80s. We're going to get back to close to near 90 degrees. I believe Lake County is on spring break at this point in time, so they're going to be able to enjoy some warmer weather. But then comes Sunday and into St. Patty's Day on Monday, we're going to see our next round of rain roll in. So let's look here at kind of the wide view. There goes that cold front that brought the mess of weather yesterday. Much cooler, drier air settling in, but notice that little ridge of high pressure out over the corner of your screen. That's going to continue to build in, keeping conditions nice and dry. You know what, if I had to come back in another life, I'd come back as a sea turtle because look, you get to hang out here. Daytona Beach Sky Cam out there. Although you're right, the first couple years are a little rough. You're right. It's okay. It's all perspective. They're not riding with Crush. Yeah. 48 degrees. You got to watch Finding Nemo. 48 degrees right now. We're under mostly clear skies. That breeze picking up out of the northwest up to about 23 miles per hour. It's that northwest breeze that's going to continue to increase throughout the afternoon, at times clocking up to about 30 potentially right along the immediate coastline. For boaters out there, just do be aware we have a small craft advisory due to that breeze, but we are going to bring down the wind overnight tonight, and then we'll be nice and calm as we head into your Wednesday and Thursday. That breeze, though, is making it feel a little cooler. I wouldn't call it a wind chill, but right now temperatures are in those 40s officially there in DeLand, throughout the villages, 50 in Leesburg, 53 degrees right now there in Cocoa Beach. But now let's check on that hour-by-hour forecast for today. By about 3, 4 o'clock, we'll be right back into those mid-70s, pretty much across our inland locations. But then as we continue to stay nice and dry, we're going to start seeing the warmth build up ahead of our next cold front. Sunday could get pretty warm, closing in on near 90 degrees before we bring back another round of rain. Just like yesterday, hopefully not as severe, but just like the timing of it looks like to start the work week on a soggy note. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
I was like, do you know even what their first 20 minutes of life experiences like?
But then they just get to ride the
Seagulls
waves for the
and
rest
all
of their
this,
life.
and then I like being a human.
That's why turtles lay like 300 eggs at a time.
Right, good luck. Southbound US 1 right there at Vieira. We do have a crash currently that do have some lanes shut down. So please make sure you're paying attention as you begin to approach that area, because they are going to detour you off US 1. I-95 outside of Melbourne looking pretty decent this morning. And then we take a little bit of a zoom out here, slide over to the west side, and then I-4 east at Champions Gate. We're slow, but we are crash free. Guys, back to you.
All right, Steve, thank you. Several homes badly damaged after an EF2 tornado ripped through Seminole County. We'll have the latest in the cleanup efforts next as we check our big stories. $7:55. Let's check our big stories. The National Weather Service now confirming it was an EF2 tornado that touched down in Seminole County yesterday. One home off Markham Woods Road destroyed, several others damaged. Amazingly, no one was hurt.
A former Brevard County deputy charged with the murder of a 72-year-old in Titusville. The new charges against David Barber were added yesterday, days after Jesse Kirk's remains were found near the Haulover Canal.
The city of Orlando scrapping plans to put a new homeless shelter in an area south of downtown. The plan was to use a former work release site along Cayley Avenue, but it faced strong opposition from many neighbors.
An Orange County commissioner set to get an update today on the future of the TimberScan condo complex. The county wants to force a sale of the property to make way for new development. The people who still live there, though, are fighting the idea, saying they have nowhere else to go. Candace.
It's a much cooler start compared to yesterday. We're running about 25 to 30 degrees colder than Monday morning ahead of that front. But now in its wake, temperatures are in the 40s for our northwestern communities, 50s pretty much elsewhere. We're going to continue to keep those temperatures nice, near normal, mid-70s, low 70s along the coastline, but a quick warm up as we head into the rest of the week.
We are seeing a crash southbound along US 1 currently over in the V area in Brevard County. Please make sure you're paying attention. Outside of that, pretty nice roadway conditions, way better than they were yesterday. Sun is out and 95 is all clear.
All right, looking pretty good. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for joining us. Remember, we break news on clickorlando.com.
You know where to find our stories and our apps. Just search New 6 Plus in your app store on your TV.
Easy as that.
Yeah.
Hope you have a great day.
Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results.
Good morning, Central Florida. I'm Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos. In the wake of that big cold front that brought us a lot of rain and storms yesterday, much cooler, breezy conditions are expected for another day. 76 will be our high this afternoon. The wind gusts picking up out of the northwest between about 20 to 25 miles per hour. It will be a touch cooler later on tonight with pretty much half of the viewing area down into those 40s, but do expect the return of the 90s before you know it as we head towards the end of the week and into the weekend. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve.
Southbound US 1 still seeing some major delays currently over in Brevard County at Vieira Boulevard and down towards Suntree. So please be careful. They are reporting that the roadway is currently shut down. DOT cam at I-95 and 192 looking pretty good this morning in Melbourne. North and southbound 95 all clear, but the turnpike very slow in Osceola County at the 243. Creeping at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. CBS Mornings continues next. Remember, you get updates on any of our big stories anytime. clickorlando.com.
Come to me, I can be what you need, oh baby. Do. There she goes. Look at her in the wild, making a vertical video. Crikey.
Yeah, let's go. All right, here we go.
Fire it up.
In 5, 4, 3, 2.
You'll like this one. Coming up in the morning, a new reason to hit the sauna.
It's been a mainstay at gyms for years. Why experts, though, now say it may have more health benefits than first thoughts.
Plus your pinpoint weather and traffic every 10 minutes. We'll see you for News 6 Mornings starting at 5 a.m.